Coming up from Hungary. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We follow Team Belgrade's journey from the qualifying draw to the knockout rounds at the Debrecen Masters. Team Amsterdam PM let us know how Holland became a 3x3 El Dorado. And we sat down with the reigning champs, Ljubljana, to make sense of their recent success despite losing star Tomo Chajic. Plus, stay tuned to the end of the magazine for the most spectacular plays of the tournament. It's quick, it's epic, and now it's Olympic. Welcome to the world of FIBA 3x3 basketball. A game played with non-stop music on a half court with one hoop between three players going to 21 points with 10 minutes on the clock. Previously at the FIBA 3x3 World Tour, the number one 3x3 team in the world, Novi Sad continued to write history, even without their superstar, the injured Dusan Bulut. A third straight Masters in the bag in the Olympic capital after one of the most spectacular finals ever against the local favorites, Team Lausanne. Good news for the fans, bad news for teams on the tour. A few days later, Bulut announced he'd be back in Debrecen. For the first time ever in World Tour history, a qualifying draw featuring 6 teams was held in Debrecen. An innovative way to increase access to the World Tour to more teams and organizers, and enhance the World Tour experience on 3 days of competition. Among these teams, some familiar faces like Team Belgrade, the number 7 3x3 team in the world, who happened to be the only team to reach Hungary just 1 day before the event.
We want to have a good sleep before the tournament and to prepare good for this two match. Because we win last week the Serbia National Cup and we want to show that we are the best team in Serbia right now.
To advance, Belgrade had to win a 3-team pool with an up-and-coming London squad and Team Vive from Switzerland, who featured players with World Tour experience. Sharpshooter Ivan Popovic stepped up and scored 21 points on the night in 2 close games, 19-18 against London and 18-14 against Vive.
Especially team from London, physical guys, jump over the backboard, you know, and Team Lausanne is very good shooter. We play our game and we win, and tomorrow we're gonna try to win both games.
The reward for winning those 2 battles? How about a spot in Pool C alongside 2 teams ranked in the top 12, Lehman from Serbia and Amsterdam PM from the Netherlands. Day 1 ends in Debrecen, with Belgrade's dreams getting bigger than Floyd Mayweather's ego. Novi Sad wasted no time in Pool A. Team Monaco showed some flashes, got a nice dunk from Kevin Core, and then an encore. See what I did there? Or was that too hardcore? But the number one 3x3 team in the world won their 2 games before the 10-minute limit, 21-13 against Monaco and 21-16 against Budapest, when Dusan Bulut proved that his ankle was just fine. Thanks for asking. Ljubljana had their usual diesel debut, an overtime win against Warsaw, iced by the Iceman himself, Jasmin Hercegovac. Their follow-up act was a total dismantling of S. Mitrovica, 22-10, with a Birdman enraged like a Hitchcock movie. Speaking of punishments, Team Riga started their second World Tour experience with a 22-8 gangster slap of Zaporizhia from Ukraine, who were the other team that made it out in the qualifying draw. Edgar Kulins may look like a Marvel villain, but he was feeling it from long range. He buried 5 2-pointers in the game. Oh, and Carlos Lasmanis? He proved he can go 0-10 real quick. Now, the next game was a close affair against the number 8 3x3 team in the world, Kron from Slovenia. Spoiler alert though, Sinisa Stilberger hit the second craziest circus shot of the whole tournament to give his team a 2-point lead with 90 seconds to go. But Riga finished on a 4-1 run to win it after Agnes Kavars beasted on the offensive glass in the closing seconds of the game. Yeah! Just one day after winning the qualifying draw, Belgrade was right back at it. Their reward for making it to the next round? 2 teams in the world's top 12, talking about Lehman and Amsterdam PM-NI. And things didn't go as planned in the Serbian face-off against Lehman. Ivan Popovic once again led the way with 8 points and some grown man defense. But whatever Popovic did, Stojacic did better. The Lehman star reached double digits and led Lehman to a 21-18 victory. They complicated things for Belgrade. Less than 2 hours later, Mr. Crossover himself was back on the court against the team that won silver for the Netherlands at the World Cup this year. And the game went down to the wire. For the 4th straight time, Popovic led his team in scoring, and Belgrade held on to a nail-biting 16-15 win. But a high-scoring, narrow win for Amsterdam could still mean game over for the Serbs. And the game was torture to watch. Joey Shelvis, a.k.a. the Gingerbread Man, found his range in this one. The Mountain had a thunderous dunk, and Jesper Jobsek had a game-high 10 points. But Stojacic just continued to stroke it like an old-school player and led all scorers on day 2. He also had a treat for the fans in Hungary. Who would have thought the World Tour would have 2 breakdancing contests in 2 weeks? Lehman won 22-19, and Belgrade survived another round. So day 2 ends with Novi Sad living up to the hype, and Monaco also advancing in Pool A. Ljubljana and Warsaw move on in Pool B. Lehman and Belgrade knock out Amsterdam in Pool C, and Riga and Kranj say who got next in Pool D. The lights turn from orange to red for Amsterdam PM-NI at the Debrecen Masters. But life could be worse. When they go home, they go back to the new mecca of 3x3. Now hold on. How did the passion of a small community become a national sport in the Netherlands?
What changed it was our medal in Bucharest last year, the European Championship. You know, there was the first medal for Dutch men basketball. We never had a medal in 5-on-5, we never had a medal in 3x3, so it was the first medal. And, you know, we get so much attention by the press, by people of the federation.
We have a summer tour, obviously. Teams from all over the globe actually come into play. Then we have a challenger in The Hague, which, you know, obviously gives you a ticket to a World Tour. European Championship, we have a World Championship in 2 years, and we even have a tour in the winter time for, you know, people that want to play during Christmas break. So pretty much you can play all year round, which is amazing. I don't know if there's any other countries where you can do that in the world.
A bronze medal's okay, but a silver medal at the World Cup? It even shook a mountain. Big man Bas Rosendahl.
We were gone for a couple days after that. We didn't get back to Holland for another week or so. And then when we got back, it just exploded. It was crazy. It was nuts. People were waiting for us at the airport. People were calling us. Newspapers were calling us. TV stations were calling us. Everybody wanted a piece of, you know, the fact that we won a medal again.
A new step toward professionalization. They became one of the first teams on the tour with an official sponsor, Amsterdam PM-NI. PM for Paul Meijering.
Paul Meijering fortunately came in and said, you know, I'm really excited about this game, and I want to give you guys the opportunity to go, you know, abroad, play challengers in different countries, and make sure you guys have the funds to do that kind of stuff, so you don't have to pay it out of your own pocket. For us, that's amazing. That means we can stop worrying about all the stuff that's next to the game, you know, and then we can focus on the game itself, which is more important.
Here's a quick look at the quarterfinals bracket, including the rematch of the Lausanne quarterfinals between Novi Sad and Kranj, and the rematch of the Prague Masters quarterfinals between Ljubljana and Belgrade. Kranj had a chance to beat Novi Sad for the first time in Lausanne without Dusan Bullet, but let the game slip away. This time in Hungary with Bullet back on the team, the Slovenians didn't even stand a chance. Bullet had a game-high 8 points, and Novi Sad won their 3rd straight game before the limit.
I don't know, maybe they got problems in the head. They are a great team. I'm wondered how they never beat us because they are really good, and I wish all the luck to them and to skip us in some brackets in the next tournaments.
Another team that reached 21 for the third time in a row on the beautiful Kosovo Square, Team Lehman, who gave Team Warsaw the business. Stefan Stojic continued his World Tour takeover with 4 bombs from behind the arc and even showed he had a little TNT in his DNA. Explosive. The 28-year-old scored as many points as the entire Warsaw team. Lehman walked away with an impressive 22-11 double.
Maybe next year when I get a little bit more prepared, it's going to be better, thanks.
The quarterfinal between Riga and Monaco was fast and furious. And I don't just say that because Anthony Kristoff and Vin Diesel were separated at birth. Monaco came to Debrecen with an odd mix of 2 French and 2 Slovenian players, but made the young Latvians sweat like the Hungarian sun. The game went to overtime after Kor and Lasmanis traded baskets. The ball was now in Norris Miezes' hands.
Guarded by Kor. Brings the crossover out, and speaking of out, Monaco's out of the tournament.
Riga escaped with a high-drama 21-20 win.
We had all-time comeback. We have just small lead all the time. Thanks to God, the luck was in our side, and we get to the semifinals.
Remember Team Belgrade? You know, the squad that made it all the way from the qualifying draw? Well, we caught up with them an hour before the game, hitting shots before the quarterfinal against World Tour reigning champs Ljubljana.
We can't attack them one-on-one because they're so tall. I think that we can run more than them and not to give Herzegovas to shoot 3-point. If we do that things, we have good chances to win this game.
And man, did they stick to the plan. Yasmin Herzegovac was put in the cold room, and the 4 Belgrade players were running around the court like a Jamaican relay team. But just after they made it a 1-possession game, my man Zagi Zagarat stabbed him with a 2-point dagger off the glass at the buzzer. Tomo Chayic's replacement kept feasting on the Serbians. He had a game-high 10 points and led Ljubljana to a comfortable 19-12 win.
Great respect to them. Today we were better, next time maybe they will.
There's no denying that Dejan Majstorovic is one of the best snipers on the World Tour. But this year in the shootout contest, he couldn't do better than 4th place in 3 attempts. So when he scored 11 in the final, it looked like his time had finally arrived. Last in line was Joey Shelvis, aka the Gingerbread Man. The winner of the shootout contest of the Europe Cup last year started off slow and got to the money ball rack with just 8 points. And after he missed the first one, the only way he could beat the Maestro was to splash back-to-back money balls.
Shelvis for the lead! And that's tasty!
Maybe next time, Mr. String Music. Shelvis changed the tune at the last minute and went home with the headphones and avenged his early exit from the World Tour. The final of the dunk contest was a rematch of last year's contest between Kristaps Dargais from Latvia and Dmitry Smooth Kravenko from Ukraine. But things could have looked a whole lot different if the 5'9" Jereminas Zitnitskas had nailed his sick, ridiculous between-the-leg smash over Smooth before the time was up. But he didn't. Kristaps started off as strong as his upper body with a jaw-dropping tomahawk dunk, and Smooth replied tit for tat with a 360 off the bounce. For just his second contest back from a serious knee injury, the Latvian 4 was missing some of his thunder and couldn't convert a wild under both legs attempt. Now Smooth, he could have just played it safe, but nah. He flipped the ball to himself and threw it down between the legs. On his final dunk, Kristaps completed his signature smash, the tornado. I would call it the tornado, but never mind. Just an insane, no-look 360 reverse dunk that still don't make no sense to me. A perfect 30. Now again, Smooth could have just secured the win with an easy jam. Instead though, he finished with a grown man dunk, his trademark wind dunk, picking up the ball between his legs in midair and finishing with more authority than Cersei Lannister. After finishing third in Prague and second in Lausanne, the 2016 Dunk World Champ takes home the 2 Gs in Debrecen.
By far the best atmosphere. I'm really happy that I can do a good show second year in a row and get a win.
Novi Sad Lehman and Ljubljana Riga. It's an old school versus new school in the semifinals of the Debrecen Masters. Let's get this out the way right now. The first semifinals has got to be one of the best games in World Tour history. A face-off between 2 amazing teams coming from the same neighborhood that remain undecided until the final buzzer. Novi Sad was splashing shots early, but the young Wolves from Lehman, they weren't intimidated. Mihajlo Vasic banged on Dusan Bullet like a punching bag and tied the game at 4 apiece. The 23-year-old once again flexed inside and gave Lehman the biggest lead of the entire game, a 3-point mini cushion, 9-6. But if you're like us, you've stopped writing off the #1 3x3 team in the world by now, right? Bullet switched gear and right on time, bit into the lead like a walking dead. Mr. Bulletproof tied the game at 11 apiece from downtown, and then on the next possession, knocked down the impossible one-legged fadeaway corner 2 at the buzzer that brought the crowd to their feet. Stojacic responded with a 3-point play, but the maestro took over and gave the 2-time World Tour winners a 2-point advantage with just 1 minute to go. What followed was the Rat Cove one-man show. The 25-year-old lost Novi Sad on the pick and roll, not once, but twice, and then scored on the most insane, mind-numbing game winner in the history of 3x3 basketball.
Oh my goodness! Oh my God! How in the heck did he make that? The upset of the year so far!
After winning 3 Masters in a row, Novi Sad finally went down, and Lehman reached the final of a World Tour Masters for the first time in their career.
It's really amazing how this last shot Ratko was made is like, I don't know, it's one time in a life he's going to score that.
Take a deep breath, because the second semifinal between Ljubljana and Riga was another nail-biter. The #4 3x3 player in the world, Jasmin Hercegovac, was a man on a mission. The Slovenian sharpshooter drilled 5 long balls in less than 4 minutes, including this impossible shot at the buzzer to give Ljubljana a 16-10 lead. Another man possessed in this game? How about Riga's Carlos Lasmanis? Dude scored 12 points and even gave the crowd a nice flush. The game was fast-paced, and midway through the 10-minute game clock, it was nearly over, with Ljubljana up 18-14 on the scoreboard, when Hercegovac, who else, buried another 2-pointer to make it 20-16. But Riga came back. Miezis hit a 2-piece on the check ball. Lasmanis and then Miezis again drove to the rim. In 40 seconds, the 4-point lead was gone, and the game was tied at 20-all. Ljubljana then turned to the scoreless Birdman, who launched a spin move, missed the initial shot, but then tapped the game winner in off the tip of his feather.
I'm always saying there is always balance in life. Now we are 1-1 in the games, and this is huge for us.
How do they keep doing this? Whenever you think a team is dying, it comes back to life. This ain't no Birdman, it's a phoenix. Just when it looked like Ljubljana were 3 years past their prime, they won the title with style in Abu Dhabi last year.
Whenever you have a bad season, you need to improve something. And after 2014, as we know, wasn't the best season for us, we had the Tomo.
I played with the Tomo the year before he joined our team. We played together 5-on-5. I know he's a good shooter. I know he can play with the back to the basket. I know he's a very intelligent player.
Everybody that comes from 5-on-5 to 3-on-3, they need also some time to adjust.
Tomo had a problem in 2015, but before 2016 he changed the mentality of thinking about 3-on-3 game. He started working, he started calling us when we're going to practice, when we're going to have shooting sessions, and the result was obvious.
So everything till 2016 was a process for us to win it in 2016, and so far it was successful.
2013 and 2016 are totally different trophies. 2013 came from above, and 2016 is totally deserved with the work, with the investing time, investing money and everything.
The season started with a bang. The Slovenians won the Saskatoon Masters and Tomo Čajić was named MVP. And then everything collapsed.
Tomo was injured. We came from Sao Paulo to Slovenia one day, and next day we were in Japan. So we were really tired.
There's a very tiny line, to go from hero to the idiot,
It wasn't only because of Japan. We added Zagorac even before the season. Because last year we played so much tournaments, and even this year, till 1 week ago, we played every weekend from beginning of May. And playing in only 4 guys is just too much. You need 5 guys.
For the 2 Ljubljana stars, new addition, Rade Zagorac, is one of the main reasons why the team reached the final in both Prague and Debrecen.
First of all, he's an experienced player. He played EuroLeague for Slovenian national team.
Very strong on a low post, and plus on that, he's a great human being, So
you immediately see on the practice, do you have chemistry with that guy or you don't? And we had it from the first moment.
Lehman and Ljubljana. How would the 2 teams recover from the semifinal roller coasters they were a part of? Now, for sure, these 2 know each other. They met 3 times in Challengers this year already, and 3 times Team Lehman came out on top. The surge for sure started with a lot of confidence. Ratko continued where he left off, and Stojičić powered his team to a 9-2 start. Last year's World Tour Final MVP, Jasmin Hršakovac, tried to put Lehman's run on hold with a big 2-pointer and won. But Lehman was too young, too quick, too fast. And Vacic scored 2 baskets in 5 seconds. Alice Kuntz initiated a mini comeback, but Stojičić ended the game with an emphatic dunk and celebrated Lehman's first ever win at a World Tour Masters.
They cruised past Ljubljana 21-14 with 3 minutes still left on the clock.
So far, so good. If we don't watch this game. But congrats to the Lehman, they were better today, and it was a great game.
Team Lehman cashed in $20,000 and secured their ticket to the FIBA 3x3 World Tour Final in Beijing.
They're a great team, but we are like fast guys and they can manage to chase us on the court. It's really hard to win a World Tour tournament. We did it this time.
Stojičić finished the Debrecen Masters as the top scorer and took home MVP honors. Who knows? You might even see him next in the top 5. There were too many crazy plays in Debrecen, but we had to get the best of the best. Top 5, top 5, top 5. At number 5, the MVP, Stefan Stojičić, has been swishing long balls all week. But when it came to the last shot of the tournament, the Serbian star showed he could get a little fancy at the rim. At number 4, Dusan Bullet put so much sauce on this pass, Mitsu Julovic just got cholesterol. At number 3, we didn't know Monaco star Kevin Core had bounced like rubber. Guess he showed us. At number 2 is Dusan Bullet again, this time losing the entire Budapest team like the car keys, with a sick, ridiculous between the legs dribble and the layup at the cup. And at number 1, we've been watching this thing on repeat, no lie. Alexander Ratko with the shot of the year against the number 1 team in the world. Behind the backboard, not even looking. I don't know if I've ever seen a game winner this crazy in my whole life. With this win, Lehman became just the third team alongside Novi Sad and Ljubljana to secure their ticket to the World Tour Final in Beijing. Who will be the 9 other finalists? Well, you'll know a lot more by following the 6 Masters of the season live from Chengdu, China on September 23rd and 24th. Remember, you can follow it live with the hashtag 3x3WT on FIBA 3x3 social media channels on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. For now, peace out from Debrecen. We'll see you soon in China with the best 3x3 ballers across the globe.